Trigger warning, sexual violence. 2 months ago, my GF was sexually attacked. It was done in a park. She didn't want to report it and went into a full breakdown. Wouldn't speak to police, go to hospital, etc. I couldn't force her, so I just stayed with her. She was, obviously, in a really poop state since, and I've been with her, by her side, listening to her, helping her. We went to therapy, and she knows I'm there for her. She has a history of depression, and I've been really worried. Last week, we found out she was pregnant. I was abroad for 2 months before the rape on work, and came back early to care for her. So the baby definitely isn't mine. She is 100% sure it's the rapist's. So we had a discussion. She is a devout Catholic. We initially decided on abortion, but after she spoke to her mother, she decided to keep the baby, saying that it wasn't the baby's fault. I flat out told her that I would not help raise a baby of a guy who raped her. She cried and begged me not to leave. I told she is the one making the choice. Either she keeps the baby and I leave, or she aborts the baby and I stay. I would not let this go. She didn't want either of those things to happen, so I told her we were done. I feel poop. Was I wrong? Update 1. I'll post the update first, since there has been some change since I last posted. Then I'll respond to some general points made from the last thread, and the ton of PMs I received. Yesterday, I received a call from my GF. She was crying, and she begged me to listen to her. I told her that I still care for her, and that I'll obviously listen to what she has to say. She told me that a few days after I told her we were done, she called up her mother to talk about this. Apparently, what happened before was that she was pretty much decided on aborting. But then when she spoke to her mother told her that under no accounts should she abort, and that I was actually manipulating her to do so. Her mother went on to say that if she aborted the child, she would no longer consider my GF as her daughter. After I left her, my GF called her mom up to talk about what went on. My GF said that she desperately wanted to abort the baby, and her mother again said that if she does so, this is the last time they will ever speak again. My GF said she broke down on the phone, and her mother kept asking her what she would do. The conversation then ended when my GF said she didn't know. Then she started texting. After a few hours of thinking, my GF sent her mom a text saying she was going to abort. She was then blocked. My GF then called me and told me everything. She will be having an abortion in 3 weeks. I discussed this with my GF, and we both completely agreed that I had not manipulated her in any way, and that she appreciated that I put my foot down, because had I not, she would have had a baby who would remind her of the worst time of her life. Her words, not mine. She further went on to say that I am the best thing that has ever happened to her, and that she knew that even if she no longer had a mom, if she had me, she could get through this. I broke down at this point. I love her so much. In truth, I probably would have gone back to her and raised the baby with her, even though I knew I'd resent it. I made the original thread to get some backing rather than anything, to see if I had made the right decision. I'm so relieved things have turned out the way they have. Also, screw any mother who places religion over their own child. Friggin' lunatics. Now to respond to some of your points from the last thread. 1. No. My GF did not cheat on me. I am almost certain about this, not only because she had the conscience of a fragile angel, but also because we both know each other's schedules really well, and we often talk to friends who can corroborate timings. Moreover, her roommate took photos of my GF after she came home assaulted. It's not rough sex as some of you dicks put it. 2. I don't give a rat's arse if you think abortion is a sin or the killing of a baby. Come and raise the baby, or give us money to raise the baby, or hire us a live-in maid to tend to my GF's every need while she is pregnant if you're so sanctimonious. Talk the talk, then walk the walk, you wanking tit baboons. 3. My GF was absolutely clear she wanted to raise the baby, probably influenced by the mom. 4. Thanks to all the people telling me I did the right thing. It was really difficult. I'm very glad it turned out the way it has though. 5. To the people who PM'd me telling me I'm a monstrous baby killer, I fail to see what my hobbies have to do with this issue. Thanks Reddit. Update 2. I was hoping to post here again after the abortion, still scheduled for 2 weeks' time. But I thought I should provide an update on some recent events from a mother from the pits of Satan's rectum. On Saturday, I answered my door and stood face to face with 2 police officers. They asked me if I was who I was, and I replied I was. They then said they were looking for my GF. I called her over, and the police officer said that he needs to have a word with her. The officers then split, one taking the GF to the living room, we let them in, and the other took me into my bedroom. The officer who took me started asking me questions about how long GF had been here, if she had any contact with anyone else, if she had left the house at all and a few other questions. I answered, and then asked what this was about, but the officer just said they received a report to check in on GF. I asked who reported, and the officer said he couldn't say. After a while, the other officer was done, and they both left. The moment they left, my GF told me that she was outrightly asked if she was in danger, and if I had been hurting her. She was also asked if she was being held against her will. She said no to everything, of course. She said that the police received a call from her mother saying she might be in danger, and that I could be abusive to her. I was freaking livid. I immediately said I was going to press charges against her. For what? I dunno. Harassment probably. My GF begged me to not, and said that it would all just blow over, and that she just needs time to calm down. WTF. She sent the police to my house to get me arrested. How is that sane thinking? I could lose my job if I was arrested and charged. What the hell is she thinking? I told GF that if the mother does anything like this again, I will definitely press charges. So the GF decides on Sunday to talk to the mom to not do anything like this again. They had a conversation for about 2 minutes, then I started hearing sobs. Immediately, I walked into the room, saw my GF was crying, still holding the phone against her ear. I plucked her phone from her hand, and held her for a bit as I heard hello from the phone. Then I put it on me, and said you're a disgrace of a mother and hung up. Then I held the GF for what felt like an hour before we started talking. Apparently, the mother was telling GF how if she continues with the abortion, she will never see the mother again, or her brother, or her deceased father, who is in heaven, even though he died a direct violent alcoholic. But hey, repent your sins at death, am I right? Because GF would be going to damnation. I told GF that if she was going to hell, then she should save me a seat, and we'd be nice and toasty together. I love her smile. What do you think, if anything, should I do about the mother? No doubt my words to her will have some reactions. Response to some people from previous threads and PMs after thread was locked. One abortion was never an option. GF was adamant she wanted to raise the baby, influenced by her mother. And if you suggest adoption anyway, then you truly do not understand just how taxing a normal pregnancy is, let alone one dipped in a beautiful cocktail of rape depression. So you can believe my GF cheated on me if that makes you feel better about your lives, I suppose. Just FYI, the pictures and roommate's report showed she had a bloodied nose, black eyes, cuts and bruises against her arms, hands and knees, torn coat and top, bruises around her neck. Cheating. Right. Edit. 3 My GF and I are still going to therapy about all of this. Update 3 I just wanted to update folk on this whole saga. This will be my final update. A few days ago, the abortion was carried out. During the weeks beforehand, my GF went to a counselor and talked to a nurse about why she wanted an abortion. She was also tested for any STIs, she's clear. She went ahead with the abortion after getting the all clear. A few days ago it was successfully carried out. They went for the surgical abortion method, which involved using a vacuum to suck the pregnancy out. GF said it was pretty painless, and she was able to return home after just a few hours. When she came home, she cried and cried and cried. She says she feels like a huge weight has been lifted, and she can finally look to move on with her life. We took the whole week of work, and yesterday we went camping. It rained. While in the tent, she talked about how difficult life was sometimes, but she was really glad things turned out the way they did. Because even though things were bad, she came out the other side, probably stronger than before. She's amazing, man. Seriously. Update on mum. So my GF received a call from her mum, who was asking if she went through with the abortion. My GF and I have an agreement that if mum calls, either hang up or give it to me. In this instance, she answered, didn't know what to say, and gave it to me. I told the mum that the abortion went perfectly, and smiled as she cursed at me for about a minute. I then said how Jesus of you, at which point she hung up. My GF didn't find it funny. Anyway, that's it. Good luck to everyone in their lives. Also, if you're going to message and insult me via PM, just be warned, I've killed a baby before. Do you think this BF was controlling his girlfriend? Let me know in the comments. Now, am I the idiot for refusing to let my entitled sister and her kids move into my brand new house? I'm a 32-year-old woman and I just bought my first house. It has 3 bedrooms, a yard, and is just what I need right now. I'm single and have 2 dogs. My sister is 34, has 3 children and lives in a 2-bedroom apartment. Lately, she's been talking about how such a tiny living space is not enough for the 4 of them. When she got to know about the house I had bought, she became very upset and told me I was being wasteful as I'm single and don't have kids and therefore don't need such a big space. I reminded her that what I do with my hard-earned money is none of her business. She went on to complain to our mother about how selfish I was being. Yesterday evening, I got a call from my mom telling me I should let my sister and her kids move into the house. My house. I told her that no one was going to live in the house that I paid for but me, and that extra space would be great for my dogs to play in. My mom also got very upset with me and told me I was being unreasonable, that my sister's kids are growing and need the space more than my dogs. I offered to help my sister out financially so she could rent a bigger place. My mom got my sister on the phone, who shot down the idea, telling me I needed to let her and her kids live in my house. When I refused again, she very generously suggested a compromise. I could live in the house with her and her kids and would not have to find somewhere else to live. She said this as if she was doing me a favor. I told her she had lost her mind and hung up. Am I the idiot, or is she? I know my sister is struggling financially, but this kind of entitlement is ridiculous. Update. After getting the verdict from Am I the Idiot, I decided to send my sister and mom a link to this post, letting them know that I had made it. As expected, they freaked the frick out. My mom has been texting me telling me what a horrible daughter I am and how I've embarrassed her in front of so many people. I told her to calm down as these are all strangers on the internet who have no idea who she is. But asking my mom to listen to reason is like asking my cat to stop shoving things off of horizontal surfaces. So I told her I'd talk to her when she's willing to act like an adult. My sister has been crying about this to my mom and any other relative who will listen. Most of them won't. They had been on my side from the start and had agreed that my sister's demands were ridiculous. They think this whole thing is hilarious. Thank you once again. Edit. Some of you asked in my original post if I really thought I was the idiot. I didn't, of course. I just wanted to show my mom and sister what a group of unbiased observers would think of their behavior. You're the idiot. You were not checking if you were the idiot. You wanted validation from a bunch of strangers online. Then, you even had the audacity to rub that validation into your family's face. I know the exact kind of person you are. You never do anything wrong and are always the victim. Get a life, not the idiot. I would have loved to be a fly on the wall when your sister and mum read the replies to your original post. It's exactly what they deserve too, reading what tons of strangers think of their pathetic and ridiculous behavior. Am I the idiot for calling my brother an idiot for believing my nephew is my kid? I don't even know how this all started, but that seems to be what he thinks now. Only because I, male 30, was in a relationship with his wife Maeve, female 30, when we were freshmen until our junior year of high school. My brother, male 32, and I weren't in each other's lives at the time because he was living with our mom a few hours away and I was with my dad, so he never knew about me and Maeve. They started dating years later. It was weird once we all knew, but I told my brother if he loves her then go for it. At the time I was already with someone else. Also I'd moved on from having any feelings for Maeve. Now they're married. My nephew is 7. Now suddenly he told the whole family he's staying at his friend's house because he has strong reason to believe my nephew isn't his kid. He only thinks I'm my nephew's father because he looks a lot like me. Then again, I'm an exact copy of my dad. While my brother definitely looks more like mom, so I don't know why he isn't accusing him too. He won't tell me why he's questioning paternity out of nowhere. They've only said they had a misunderstanding during an argument. Now this is what's in his head, but won't give us any more details. The last time we talked he told me he wants a paternity test to prove it. The fact that he believes I'd do something like that alone angered me enough to call him a freaking idiot for not understanding how genetics work. We're brothers, so of course there's a chance our kids might look like the other, but it doesn't mean anything. I put lots of emphasis on how much of a dumbass I think he is for that thought alone, so that's why I'm here wondering. My dad told me my brother is clearly going through something. His mind probably isn't clear, so to insult his intelligence like that was going way too far. My brother obviously seems to think I'm an idiot too, hence why I'm asking if that's accurate after all update. Not sure if anyone still cares, but I know if you wanted an update about this. This whole thing was a lot crazier than I originally thought. Even if the final judgment said I wasn't the idiot, I still apologized anyways for insulting him just so that my hands are clean at this. But I still told my brother how hurtful it is that he'd doubt my word. Instead of trying to ask me, he outright accused me of having an affair with his wife and fathering a child with her. If he seriously thinks it was me, then I'd do the test. He'd have to pay for it, but he better get used to not having me around because we are done after this. Clearly the test came back showing I'm not the father, only showing what percentage of DNA we share given that we're uncle and nephew. Not only that, a day after posting this I'd reached out to Maeve again demanding to know what this whole thing started from. Pretty much he suspected she was having an affair because one time he came to her work and she wasn't there. Later on that day she acted like she did go, but he never told her he stopped by. In reality, she had a consultation with a lawyer because she decided to get a divorce. But he didn't know about the divorce at the time. My brother still thought she was maybe cheating and he went through her stuff. Maeve admitted that my brother found her personal journal. She didn't want to tell my family the details about the fight because it was regarding what he read from her journal, and some of the stuff was about her still having feelings for me. He confronted her, so that's how he misinterpreted the whole thing, thinking it was an affair with me. Even though she said in her journal she never wrote it to sound like we were having an affair. She was only admitting still being in love and feeling guilty about being with him only for my nephew's sake. I heard my brother's side too once he was more calm. He too admitted that it got to his head when really nothing in the journal said anything about us. While now I can understand his feelings about what was going on, I still can't forgive him for the way he acted since then. Again, he never asked to hear my side before jumping to accusations. He apologized for it. Maeve did too for unintentionally dragging me into this because she didn't want anyone to find out about her feelings. It's pretty complicated. I needed a day to unplug just to process everything. As far as I know, my brother still hasn't come back to their house. Maeve is still moving forward with the divorce process. Whole thing is a mess. My mom keeps trying to push me to talk to my brother because he feels bad how he treated me, but I already set my condition for doing the paternity test. If he was so sure that I'd be the kind of brother to betray him that way, then we have no business having a relationship. For now, that's what I'm sticking to, not the idiot. Your brother is extremely insecure and immature. Not only was he stalking his wife because he misinterpreted passages in her journal, which is supposed to be private, but also believed you betrayed him and slept with his wife and fathered a child. Now, he's lost both his wife and his brother. I'm not going to tell you whether or not you should repair your relationship with your brother because I don't know whether or not he's behaved this way before. I will suggest keeping your distance from him until you're ready to be anywhere near him. Right now, you don't owe your brother anything.